Hey there, this is the afternoon, evening of August 5th and August 6th of 2022. I went to the city prosecutor's office today. Unfortunately, I was too late, and the office had already closed. I checked the door, and it was locked. I went over to the window on the 7th floor and took a video of the outside facing the freeway. I was taking a second video when three women exited the office through the locked door. Sillily, I asked if they were closed, and they agreed they were. The elevator door opened, and I first waited for the ladies to enter first. They stood still, so I entered, and they remained where they were until the door closed, and I was all alone again, isolated, just as my captors planned. I put money on the fact that the group called Zach Klein's office, pretending to be the government. They knew I was coming and didn't want to ride in the same elevator as a, quote, known criminal, which is the history of doing drugs in the privacy of my own home. My captors certainly know how to scare the neighbors into thinking something, or into thinking I'm someone worthy to force out of the neighborhood. And the neighbors all take the bait and do everything they are told to do. It is the strangest thing, and it can all be traced back to one man's wish, to the devil himself, to be believed of whatever he says. Harvard doesn't really fit nicely into that category. My lawyer didn't buy his story, whatever it was, and came away from a conversation with him saying he's crazy. Someone who is believed of everything they tell wouldn't have someone not believing what they say. Harvard's quote on his office door is very telling of his subservient role and not actually being in charge. Christians also have the same belief in that God is in control of things bigger than we can manage. When a situation is too much stress or too complicated, you eventually surrender the problem over to God to work out for you. My current situation of not being believed is something I'm not able to fix, but I still keep trying, because if I don't, people will believe what they've been told for the rest of my life. Petty has fucked with my life so much that I will never have a normal life ever again. It also means if I'm not able to get resolution, that the curse will stay in force forever. And I refuse to live my honest life disbelieved. Bill is the perfect candidate, and she told Patty what Delaha said about me, and she believed him. That's what got her to get the police involved, because of a belief of Bill's statement about me being a drug dealer, which is not true. Both Arvid and Patty are convinced I am. That explains the security camera aimed at my driveway and house, and a similar one installed shortly after Wade moved in to capture the image of people at my front door. My neighbors and the police all believe the nonsense of being some sort of deviant and someone to not associate with, as evidenced by the ending of a relationship with Coldwell Banker, the start of a new career that would have been successful. So it was sabotaged. I think the curse has been put on me within the last 2 to 3 years, but maybe it's been since the first hospitalization. A belief told by the one in charge that I can't get any help from anyone is complete bullshit, and just a way to ensure the mutiny of the group doesn't occur. People should be wiser, and my poor neighbors caught in the middle. Silence from the police as to how to, quote, deal with me, and threats from the fake government if they tell the truth, has me fucked, and without help from anywhere. The media is the only hope, and because of R&M being part of my story, the government do their best to block it. If the police aren't effective enough with discriminating or with discrediting me with a mental illness diagnosis. All these people doing things to me has to come to an end. And Patty is the reason that everyone is still involved. The way the world works is cruelty for justice to be served. And I'd like to change that. It's why I have offered freedom in exchange for the truth to get my freedom restored. I announced this morning in my kitchen that if people are sent to jail, if they tell the truth, I will defend them and plead with the judge for their punishment to be not any prison or jail time. Time in jail awaiting trial would be punishment enough for me. My purpose in getting things done correctly is for my life to be restored. It is not for me to destroy people's lives because they believed something, thinking it would give them what they wanted. They were misled, and whether they knew or not, their voice of authority, they possessed a technology that made their authority believed. I can understand their gullibleness to a degree. It makes sense. What I'm most troubled about is the stalling of the inevitable. My success, or planned failure, which is a 50% chance of coming out of this mess in one piece, without any more pain and suffering occurring. If I can convince any of a number of people to help, neighbors, media, police, friends, FBI, my captors, the CIA, I have a 100% chance of success. All it would take is a little support. I figured out nearly 95% of everything, and I need help getting the stubborn 5% to become my knowledge too. The reason why success in this situation is so important is because I am in a fight against the devil, and if I can't squash him in public embarrassment, which will yield him no power once attacked with the truth, I risk an entire lifetime of disaster and early death. I'm unsure why I have been chosen to experience what I have, but I believe my ability to move past the trauma and become an even more confident and assured man is the story of all ages, because it will prove the devil can't win if you have faith, and people need to know that message. If they read about it and believe it, they'll put it into practice in their own lives and stop being afraid of things. They keep them stuck, sometimes for years or decades. Bill has been stuck for a long time, and his life has never been exciting, until I came along and became his target. I don't know what it was, but it certainly did stick. It's time to get unstuck. It's time. In a way, I'm lucky the police are so stupid. My inability to report crime and have it investigated has the single largest settlement the 14th largest city in the nation has seen in a number of years. I have them tracked by their own action and documentation. I don't have to prove anything to win. Netcare is also the same situation because their own doing is the evidence of harm being done. Their rapid-fire approach to hospitalizations was a directive from someone, somewhere. And their their statements about R&M and V2K being not real and delusions is worth a lot of money. and media attention that could put both real things in the spotlight, making the program end more making the program's end more possible. It's true. I may be targeted for the rest of my life. But once word got out that I beat the devil and made the world a safer place for everyone, I don't believe I'd worry at all with people bothering me for signatures instead of legal judicial papers removing me from society. One thing I cannot have happen is for things to stay the same and continue to be annoyed and ignored. I'll keep trying to pry it out publicly in the neighborhood. It involves the whole neighborhood, and they should know the truth. I will not be shamed for something I didn't do. I drove up to Delaware for an early evening getaway from the neighborhood and rare treat of a meal out and remembrance of how life used to be. My friends don't understand the situation I'm in and the huge importance of getting this taken care of first. They wouldn't believe it if I told them anyway. Maybe I'll write a post to my fraternity Facebook page and give people an update. That way, more than the same 4 negative people will read what I write. I'm really only a silence as I choose to restrict my audience. I just wish I had some support from someone. Maybe the police will talk to my mom and tell them what's going on is real. That's just it. Everything I've been reporting for years is exactly the way that I've reported it. It's unfolding. And if we don't stop this stuff soon, I fear what the environment is going to look like for us. And worse, how people are going to respond. Because the way that they'll respond could spur a military takeover to restore order. Because I don't think the police are equipped to do that. So I'm really concerned about this. I know that it's a goal of the group that's been targeting me, probably something they've dreamed about forever. It's kind of selfish, and it's something you dream about when you're a little kid. Just saying. What kind of army would you have? What cash flow do you have so that you can do anything at all? Do you have capital reserves? What departments and agencies you're going to have? Will you offer welfare still and disability? Where would the Social Security checks come from? I don't know. It sounds like a lot of work to kind of take over the world. But yeah, fine.